My name is Yuri. We're gonna do some WebGL stuff today. Let me know if the stream is okay, the sound is okay, and everything is in place, and let's start coding. And while you're trying to tell me this, wonder, YouTube, let's start code, changed completely the interface. All new. I don't see any of your comments yet. Hope anybody can see me. Yay, hello. Finally, I've been worrying that it doesn't work good. So you could see me, right? Just tell me something, give me some feedback. Hey. All right. All right, finally. So everybody's so quiet. Okay, and I'm worrying about the interface and all this stuff. Okay. While we are gathering and checking everything in place, I want to share with you my my insight of this week. Yeah, cool. I actually realized that I've been pronouncing the pi number the wrong way this whole time. I will not forget to share screen again. Yay, hey everybody. Good morning to you. Should be a good day. Yeah. So today I'm gonna try to implement this. I have so many windows open. I'm gonna try to implement this kind of website. I've seen it on awards or somewhere. I don't know. It looks just pretty cool to me, and it's kind of a simple WebGL effect. And I think we should be good implementing it under 1 hour today. So this is how it looks like. It's pretty cool, yeah? I think it's cool. And also when you do this kind of thing, it's okay. I just think I need to make it bigger so you can see the effect. It also oscillates this way. It's pretty simple, but you know, lately I've been doing some sort of crazy GIFs, so I thought I would share something practical. Okay, let's do this. I'll call this, how should I call this animation? Because we have a delay, and when I'm asking you something, it's just gonna be 1 minute until you answer me. I'm gonna call this animation, whatever animation. Okay, sounds like a good name to me. I'll be using parcel and my usual basic 3JS scene template. So I'm gonna go into the terminal. I'm gonna go to whatever folder. I'm gonna just run parcel. I need to go there a second time just to run the. This is the most complicated HTML I'm gonna write today, and this is the JavaScript I wrote, I think 3 years ago already. It's been like 2 or 3 years already since I started streaming in Russian, though it's just a couple of months since I started streaming in English. So it's a basic 3JS scene. It's sort of 160 lines of code. It doesn't do anything except showing me a plain geometry objects with the shader material. That's it, simple as that. So I have 2 simple shaders, the vertex shader, which is very complicated, and then the fragment shader, which is even more complicated because it's showing me some colors instead of just showing me the position. It's all good, right? And you know what? Since I started coding this WebGL stuff, when I first saw this kind of, I don't know, visual, it's not even an animation, it's just the plane with the UVs visualized. It's still kind of a magic to me, and it looks so beautiful, even though it's just square with the colors. Even though I could, you know, you could do some ray marching inside of this plane, and you could do whatever with the shaders, but it's still kind of a magic to me. You can see the colors, which are actually just the coordinate system. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right. So let's start coding. First of all, I want to I want to make this plane, I want to make this square, full screen square. I think I had like, I don't know, 5 already or 6 streams where I did that. I even have it commented here. It's just about the simple geometry things. It's not the part that was mentioning. This is the part that I was mentioning. So it's kind of a simple geometry thing here. So first of all, I'm going to be measuring the aspect ratio of my screen, which is this width divided by this height. And if it's not square, then I'm going to scale 1 dimension, and if it's not square the other way, it's not spherical, I'm gonna I don't know what, I'm gonna scale it on the other axis. And let's try it on command. It's pretty simple, right? It's just the aspect ratio thing. So now we have it. Now the plane is exactly the same aspect ratio as my screen, right? Is a viewport. Then the other thing comes in. We just need to change the fold of the camera so that it fits the whole screen. And indeed, it's a simple geometry, and I will take a minute to explain it, just because I like people watching me doing a shitty drawings in a Photoshop, because it's not really an application to do that at all. But I just don't know what's the best application to do a simple kind of sketch with your mouse and with the touchpad indeed. So if I have the camera here, this is the camera, and I have the plane somewhere here, and indeed the fourth field of vision of the camera is something like this. So I'm going to change the color, just something sort of this. Just the angle, like how much of the stuff I see on my screen. And I need to calculate this angle so it exactly fits this plane, which has the height 1, and it has the height 1 because this is just the plane geometry object with the height 1. So I need to calculate this angle, what's going to be this angle, just so the plane fits. And to do that, I need to have the height of this thing. I need to know the distance between the camera and this object, right? So indeed, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have the other color. So when I have this, so this is the yellow one is the camera Z position, which I'm referencing right here. It's a distance, and then this is the half of the height of the plane, which I'm referencing here. So I'm dividing half of the height by dist, by the camera position Z. So I'm dividing this yellow thing. No, I'm dividing half. I'm dividing this with this, which indeed just gets me a tangent of the angle of this angle. And then it's just about taking 8 tangents, how do you call it in English, 8 tangent of this value. So I get the angle now. I should multiply it by 2 because this is just the half of the angle, and then I will multiply it and will convert it back to the degrees, because camera 4 is in degrees, not in radians. So that's it. It's pretty simple, and yeah, let's see what it looks like. It actually does what I just explained to you, because I wrote this code 2 years ago and tested it like 100 times. All right, so it does work good. Now I already have my smashing masterclass. I actually still have a lot of stuff to do about my English language and the words I pronounce wrong, but I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying. Maybe someday someone will call me a native speaker. Well, almost native speaker. All right, enough that stuff. So we have now the plane that fits the whole screen. Now I want to show some image. I'll go to the Unsplash. Something very beautiful. Okay, it's not exactly what I expected to find when I was looking for something like beautiful. Okay, this is better. So what should I pick out of all those beautiful things? Some of them are just too beautiful. I need something medium beautiful, I think. all right. I think this one was good enough. So take this. I think I need to compress it a bit with the Photoshop because it's too big. 2 times, and then I'm gonna just save it as a JPEG. It's whatever. It's gonna be image JPEG. Right, we have it now. I need to import it so the parcel knows the URL. I think it should be this way. And now I can use it as a uniform here. It's gonna be uniform type texture. I'll name it texture. And I need to load this texture. It's gonna be just an image variable, and then that's it. Now I can show it in the fragment shader probably. I need to have the uniform declared, and then I can just do color equals texture 2D texture VUV, and then show that thing finally. And it doesn't show anything because I had some texture 2D, because D should be the capital D. Yeah, and there we go. Now we have the image. It doesn't scale right yet, but I have this part here which just saves me the aspect ratio of my screen. So obviously the image is now just scaling to the whole plane. So to do this, I will do this like this. I'm gonna introduce no new variable, new UV equals VUV minus, I should normalize it first. Then I should multiply this by the aspect ratio of my screen, and then I should add again back to the center. Let's see. Yeah, now it's good. So I'm just scaling my image so it just fits the whole screen and preserving its aspect ratio, like its native aspect ratio. All right, there we go. What's next? Now we have an image, we have it full screen, all good. Next thing I would like to do is actually to see the grid, like see the vertices on my screen. So I'm gonna do the wireframe true. I will also do a temporary debug stuff like this, just so it's all red, so it could easily be seen on my screen. Yeah, now it's all good. All good. And what's next? Now I wanna change this, I wanna distort this geometry with something in my shader, obviously. So let's start doing that. Okay. I'll do it this size so it fits better. I think I could also do it like this. Change it a bit. Are you still following me? Because you're so quiet, guys. I need your feedback. This is the internet. Anything could happen any minute. Alright, so I have the wireframe geometry, I have the vertex shader, so I think I'm ready to start writing some shaders finally. So I have the plane fitting my whole screen, and if you notice like how this is working. I think it's actually moving the plane further from the viewer. So to do this, I can make it a bit bigger. Something is always wrong with the offsets. Okay. New variable pos equals position. And then I could do pos here. And then I could do pos equals what? By sine of pos x. And then, yeah, I had a small workshop at the Smashing magazine describing the power of shaders 2 weeks ago. Thank you guys. Something is not right because it's not 2-dimensional, it's 3-dimensional thing. Yes, now we have it scaled. I think I should multiply it by something big to see the, just so it works. Now we have the sine curve, so it's working. But it's not the distortion I'm looking for right now. It should be something else. So let's try to calculate the distance from the center of my object to any vertex we are at right now, because the vertex shader is being calculated on each of the vertices of my scene, of my. Okay, I need to close the Photoshop. This was a beautiful geometry drawing, right? We will never see it again. Never, ever. Except in your stream, when you're gonna be watching. Just go back and watch my shitty drawing again. All right. Distance from the center. Need to calculate distance from the center. So let's just make it a distance variable, and then we have a length of the vector, and we can calculate the length of the 2-dimensional vector, and we could just subtract uv, which is just the coordinate system on my plane object, minus the center. So it's going to be the vector pointing from the center towards the point we are at right now. And it's a good thing to normalize this thing, because it would be bigger than 1 in the end. Like on the corner it's going to be 1.4. You can try to guess why it's going to be 1.41, because this is the square root of 2. But to normalize it, it's max dist equals length back to 0.5, and then like normalized distance gonna be equal distance divided by the max distance. So now it's going to be changing from 0 to 1 until the very corner of the plane. Well, yeah, Alain just told you that you can just use any image of the height map of a terrain or something, and that's it. Just using the brightness of the pixel as the height of your vertex. All right, now we have the normalized distance. Now I can actually preview it. I can actually preview this distance. I will call this how would you call this kind of animation? I think the guys called it stick, like because it's kind of trying to stick to something. So it's gonna be stick to, and we just do this with this. I'll explain a bit later why I need to do this stick to. And now I can do position Z plus stick to, and let's see what we'll get with this. Nothing, because why? 63 lines, 63, and then yeah, max distance minus. Okay, now we get this beautiful effect, and this vertex is just, it has one offset from the original one, and this has 0 offset. It's still in the same place that it used to be, but all the others, because the distance from the center is actually 0 from the center to the center. Yeah, thank you. We have this delay, so when you see me making an error, it's already a minute me trying figuring the reasons. Nah, I don't think so. It's only Russians, judging by the guys who comment. Yeah, it's mostly people Russian speaking because they know me more, obviously. But I think it's better to speak English anyway, because more people can, you know, can share this moment with you. All right, so now we have this kind of a stick effect. Now I want this effect to have some progress. I'll introduce the JSUB now. So I'm gonna do JSUB version 3 from JSUB. I'm gonna add these mouse events here. Mouse events, and then document at event listener, mouse down. Now I think I need to have something like a progress here. I will also have it here, progress, in my shader, and then I could animate this progress. So let's, by default this progress value is just 0, so I'm gonna multiply my stick to animation by the progress, and I'll get the default state because it's all zeros. Yeah, I actually love Ireland. I've been there this autumn, and I immediately fell in love with the way you speak, with the nature, with everything. I love it. All right, and then, yeah, the progress. So now I want to animate this progress with the JSUB animation. Let's see. With the new JSUB syntax, I could just write this. I need to state an object which I'm going to be animating. It's going to be this material uniforms progress, and then it has some value. I'm going to be animating this value to 1, and the duration something like half a second. And I need to do the same for the backwards animation. I'm going to be animating this to 0 when the mouse is up. Well, yeah. So I could preview this animation with the fragment shader. I already have the progress here. So I could just, instead of showing just the red color, I'm going to be showing the progress. And I think I want to make my plane more detailed, like 100. Yeah. So now it gets red when I press the mouse down, and when I let it go, it just goes back to the black, into the basic. And if you could look at it from the distance, it goes like this. Now I want this animation to, like, right now it goes just from 0 to 1, from the plane to the maximum. What we actually see here, it's going from the plane back to the plane. So it goes to the maximum distortion in the middle of the animation, and then goes back to the plane. So for this I will need some other drawing. This now with the math, I need the math function. This is the usual thing. Actually, I think all the people who ever did some GIF animations or, you know, shader animation, ray margin stuff, they know this usual triangle or V function, triangle function. Triangle. Yeah. So let's try to do this function. So this is the default function which I'm animating right now. It goes from 0 to 1. Now we could do the double of this function. Now it goes from 0 to 1. Like in the middle, it's already 1. Even though it's just, okay, that wasn't the 1. Now it goes to the 1. When it's halfway there, it goes already to the 1. I want something to go there and back again. There and back again. It's called the V or inverse V or triangle function, whatever. So to do this, I will need to do two functions. One is double x and one is double minus x. Now you can see that they're forming exactly what I need. Now I could do something like the minimum between double x and double 1 minus x. And this is a green function now, and you can see that it does exactly what I need. And I'll call it, what I call it, my super progress. My super progress. Super progress. Because I don't think just the super progress is enough to state how cool this function is. So I'm going to take the minimum, and I already have this progress thing here. So what I need is double progress. It should be float, and then double. So this is just math minus progress. So I'm just forming this big function, and you'll see in a second what it does, what a cool thing it does for us. Okay, yeah, this seems better. Thank you for fix. Something went wrong because, yeah. So let's see. Now when I'm pressing mouse, I'm just pressing mouse once. It goes back to the maximum distortion and then back again. This is what I need. Now the one thing left, I need to move this thing on our z-axis, so it moves further from the viewer, and so we see kind of further from us. To do that, I will do some like plot z offset equals, I don't know, maybe 2. And I'm going to multiply this whole thing by the z offset. So now it goes even further into the distortion field, but I want to move it at the same moment. I'm going to move it further from the viewer. So this super duper progress is just does the distortion part for me. This z offset states like how far it should distort the field into the z dimension. Then I need to introduce something more, which is going to be showing me like how far it should go from me. Yeah. So we could do this. It should be something that changes, but it's not. It shouldn't be something that changes linearly, because if I do this, like I could just write here progress, for example. It's kind of good, but it's not actually good, because it's not sticking. It's moving, like it's at the same time it's moving and it's distorting. And I want this effect to be like sticking it to the further plane from the viewer. And to do this, I need this progress to be actually kind of this function. So I want to do this. I want this function to be not the maximum, but the minimum from the double x and 1. So I want it to look like this. So I want it to get to the to the final z halfway of the animation. And to do this, I can just let's call it a z. Okay, it's not right. Z progress, and I'll do this z progress. Float z progress is gonna be equal. Probably it's just the same as a clamp, and it's gonna be what? It's gonna be double progress, like I said. So it's z progress, now it's just the double progress. It will go to the 1 halfway of the animation, and then gonna stay at 1. And let's see what it changes for us, except that errors here again. Hyvä ilta, Finnish friends, clamp, because I need to, yeah, tell what we're gonna be clamping. Now you see that the physics of the animation changed completely, because it's kind of a sticks to the further plane, maybe the offset is too big. So it sticks with the center to the further plane and then goes, you know, all the other parts of it goes there. So yeah, maybe 2 is better because we're gonna see much more distortion on the corners. Yeah, it's working like this. This part is actually good, but it's just the half of the animation. We also need to state the direction of the animation, because now it animates backwards the same way it animates there, right? So to do this, I will introduce another variable. I'm gonna call it direction of the animation. And I need to state it here, direction. Well, this is already cool in itself, right? We could do this. And by the way, while we, okay, yeah, no. I want to do all the things at the same time. Yes, здравствуйте. All right, direction, we have the direction. I'm gonna just do this. So when I'm starting the mouse up, I'm gonna do equals 1. Equals 0. Now, depending on this direction, I can change the, like right now it's distorting that way, right? Okay. Down there, right? But I want it to distort the other way when it goes backwards. To do this, I'm gonna stick out. It's gonna be minus normalized distance. And then I could just mix those two with the direction variable. I'll call it stick effect. Direction. So instead of using the stick to somewhere here, I'm gonna use this stick effect now, which is much better. Let's see how it changes the whole animation. It's almost there, it's still not right, but now it moves differently on 2 ways. Those lips, you mean like JSAP? It's not for the physics in itself, it's just for the animation. But they have some plugins to do the physics as well. Okay, so now we have it almost there. Almost there. I think we should also change this super duper progress, because right now it doesn't do us good. Maybe it does. I think the problem is in the Z progress right now, because Z progress changes linearly back and forth, and then we need to have the other function just like this one, which goes halfway to the 1 and then stays at 1, and we need it to have the other way, and it's gonna be probably the minimum of the double 1 minus x and 1. Yeah, just like this black function. We need this function to animate it backwards now. So this Z progress is gonna be mix. I'm gonna mix with the direction again, and I'm gonna mix this clamp with the other clamp, just like I just wrote in my math sketch. So just simple math functions should be multiplied. So I'm writing exactly this function, which is the minimum, which is the same as a clamp. Clamp is just clamping it to the 0-1 range. Yeah, and now Z progress will be different when we go there and when we go backwards. So let's see. Something is not right. Something is very much not right. So it goes right that way. It goes from maybe I should just it wouldn't make any sense for the viewer probably, but maybe I should just subtract this one. Yeah, because yeah, actually I need to invert this function so it goes backwards the same way. Like, okay, whatever. I hope you'll understand why I need this. So now we have exactly what we need. When we go there, it goes this way. Go there, it goes this way. So I'm just inverting the animation. Actually, it's the same. It goes the same path. When it goes backwards, I had to just invert some functions depending on the direction variable. So it goes differently the other way. Cool, isn't it? It's so simple. We just used like a bunch of the simple math and it works. Which macOS I have? I don't know. 10.15 Catalina. And this is my setup. I should probably buy a new MacBook soon. Alright. We are there. Now let's try to get the image back and see how it looks like with an actual image. Okay, wireframe. Ooh, it's actually pretty cool. It's so simple yet so cool. We don't see this edge of the distortion, but it's pretty cool, right? Parabola, you mean like square root? Yeah, we could just do the math power to the any part of those, but it doesn't matter much. Okay, so let's continue. Now I want to add some waves when we are there. So when we are there, it's a progress equals 1. So I can multiply progress with something. To make waves, it's usually a sine function. To make waves coming from the center, I need to use distance. And distance changes from 0 to 1. This is not enough probably. I need to multiply by something like 10, something big again. It's just like the way that I actually started. I also have the time variable, so I will probably add time here. And what? And this whole thing is going to be too huge because the progress is 1 and the sign goes from -1 to 1, so it's too big, so I need to multiply it by something small. Now let's see what's gonna happen now. Yeah, now we have it. Let's speed up some time. All my setup, the macOS version, everything is under every video I posted. It's like hundreds of video with a link to my setup, so you can get everything there. I'll not be answering that now. Yes, now we have this cool wavy effect. Okay, it's kind of hard to see. Isn't it beautiful? And this is exactly the effect that guy's using here. Well, maybe if we have some 10 minutes, I'll try to add something more like this distortion effect to make it a complete cool stream, like the coolest stream ever. I don't know what's happening to my MacBook. It's actually not charging, even though it's connected to the charging device. I have this bug all the time. It's the reason I want to change my laptop now, because it's kind of shown me it's connected to the power source, and then yeah, service the battery. Yeah, life is shit. Okay, next thing, I want to do the distortion field. Okay, I need to get the mouse position. To get the mouse position, I think I can use whiteout oscillation because they had it on the original website. That's the only reason. Because I'm trying to replicate the effect on that website. Okay, now I want to do this. I need the mouse. I need to get the mouse. I want to use this, how do you call it? Mouse. I don't remember the exact name. Simple input events. Window, and then the mouse move. Just a simplify it a bit for me. Mouse move event. And the event is here, and I just need the position. It's going to be XY. I need to run the mouse move here. I also need to have something to store my mouse position on the screen. I also need to state the uniform. Something in there, let it be 0. And I need it in my fragment shader. It's not this. Have the mouse in my fragment shader. I'll calculate the color as the distance between the mouse and the UV. So plot mouse dist equals length UV minus mouse. Yeah. This mouse is 0, 0, it's just the left bottom corner now, and we are seeing the distance from the left bottom corner in the red color. Okay, now I need to change this distance. Obviously I need to change my uniform when I do the mouse move. Yeah, I wanted to see like what I'm seeing here. So this is actually the coordinates of my mouse on my screen. So I need to normalize them probably and get the 0 to 1 range out of those, right? So I'm going to do this mouse x equals. The first one is the x coordinate. It's going to position 0 divided by this width. And the second one divided by this height. Except that the y is usually in inverted coordinates, so I will need to do this probably. And I need to change the uniform, of course. This material uniforms mouse value equals this mouse. Let's see. Yeah, now we see the something following my mouse on my screen. So we kind of have position on my screen. What's next? What's next here? I'm writing code too fast. I'm thinking slower than I'm writing the code actually. At the moment. Always like that. I hope. I think I would also need to calculate the speed of my mouse, because this effect is actually connected to the speed. Like when I'm moving mouse slowly, it doesn't distort the field. When I'm moving it fast, it actually distorts the field. So I'm gonna introduce the get speed. Get speed. And I would also need the previous mouse position. To get the speed, I need not only the current one, but the previous one. So when I'm going to be getting the speed, I'm going to be comparing those two. Speed. So first of all, I'm going to do the end of this part, and then I can calculate the speed like this. It's going to be, and then just the distance between the previous and the next. I can actually do it like this. Let's copy paste all this shit. So this is the speed now. and I could run it right here. And inside of this get speed, I think the mouse objects have the drag in the mouse move, and yeah, I think so too. But we don't actually need the drag right now, we just need the speed of the actual mouse movement. I'm not sure if we could... It's not good to have it inside of the mouse move event because it wouldn't change after we stopped moving the mouse, and I want it to be calculated the whole time. So maybe we can. I don't know, whatever. I don't think it's that critical at the moment. So we have the speed. Where's the speed? Let's see the speed. Yeah, so it goes, when I move mouse real fast, it goes upper and then goes to 0. Immediately goes to 0. It's kind of not smooth, but I think it's enough for now. Now I could multiply, I could introduce another, like the speed, another uniform. Let's get the uniform. Get it. Speed and this. Actually, I have it. Speed is this speed, and I could maybe multiply this by mouse speed now. Maybe I should kind of normalize this speed. Like the float norm speed equals multiplied by 10, 0, 1. So it actually gets to the 1 or something like that. So now I'm gonna move mouse real fast. When I stop it, it goes back to the 0. Okay. So far, so good. Now I need to introduce some distortion, like where my mouse is, I need to distort the field inside my fragment shader. To do that, I will okay, so this is kind of a center of my mouse now, in the mouse dist variable, right? Now I can use a smooth tap, I think, and then yeah, I think I could use a smooth tap to draw a small circle on my screen. I'll call it C because it's circle. It's gonna be a smooth tap. Then I need mouse dist in the end, which is the value I'm gonna be smooth stepping. Then I need 2 ranges, and the range is gonna be the radius of my circle. And let's try something like this. And then I need to see this C. I need to see the C. Yes, now we have this circle. It should be the other way. Yeah. Something like this. Now I have it. Now I can do the distortion based on this C. And how would I do the distortion? Almost at the end. My brain overheating now, just a little bit. Still. So I need to use this circle. It's gonna be just the like what? It's gonna be the field where the power of my mouse distorts the image. And now I need the actual distortion in place. And if you look closely, they actually distort the RGB values too. It's not just the one image here, they're distorting the RGB values. I don't think I'm gonna replicate the exact effect they use, but I'm gonna introduce some effect that I actually did in my recent Code Drops article, because it's pretty straightforward. And yeah. So I need three RGB values for each channel of the image. I need them all distorted. So I'm gonna do this float R equals plus something. And this something is gonna be so it only distorts inside of the circle, and then it also needs to depend on the speed, on the actual speed. And the speed is norm speed. And then I'm gonna just take the red channel out of this. And then the same goes for this one, RGB. And then just to make them different, I'm gonna do something like this, 0.5, 3, 1, RGB. And then instead of showing my circle, I'm gonna be showing this RGB channel. Well, it kind of works, I think. I think it's too huge, just too huge. I need to multiply it by something small to like divide it by 10. Yeah, looks much better. I think also the speed is not smooth enough. I think I multiply this by 40 to make it more powerful. And by the way, if I just replace these different variables, it's going to be just distorting the field with not changing the color, but I like this effect of changing the color. And I'll do just the last thing. The last thing, I'm going to make the... It's not going to be the speed, it's going to be the target speed. And the target speed, it's inside of the get speed. I'll do the simplest inertia. So the target speed is going to be following the speed value, but it's going to be just a little bit behind. And it's going to be smoother. Yeah, so now the target speed follows the speed value. I think so. Maybe it just goes to 0. It's not right. Yeah, and we still have this cool animation here. But something is not right with the target speed. I want it to follow the speed. Maybe I should just yeah, it's none because I haven't initialized it. It's a good thing to have them 0. Now they just go into 0, which is not right too. Maybe it's plus. Yeah, it's much smoother now. Yeah, so I actually did some practical animation here. And it's beautiful. What I like about this, it's so simple, yet it's so beautiful. It's this simple effect, it just adds so much to the feel of the website, and yet it's so easy to do. Isn't it beautiful? I think it is. especially from the viewer point of view. Of course, it's much more complicated behind it. I was just trying to simplify the effect and replicate it, like the basic version. Of course, it's much more to it. Like you can get the 80% of the work with the 20% of the time, and then I spent a lot of time making it perfect, adding some small details. Like the distortion is not exactly like I did it here. It's a bit different, and then this effect is also a bit different. They polished it, but yeah, just did that in under 1 hour, even with just me, which is not the best developer in the world. Multiply and that smooth step. What do I mean, multiply and that smooth step? Oh, you mean multiplied by speed? We could do that, yeah. So when we build this circle, we could multiply with the norm speed. Could be better. It's gonna change the radius of the field now. I think we could make it also a bit smoother with some easing function, but yeah, it's gonna be a homework. Yeah, just like how the bird looks in 3. Ship it. Yeah, we should ship it. By the way, the console logs are wasting so much performance. It works much better. Of course, it's 60 FPS. I wouldn't even. Yeah. It's been a good morning spending with you all, guys. If you want to support me, you can go to the Patreon. Okay, I need to change the screen back. You can support me. I don't know, somebody supports me. I have $63 per month. Could you imagine that? Could do anything with this amount of money. Yeah, so if you want to support me, it's not like not demanding it, but you can. And then you can subscribe to me on Twitter. Probably you're all subscribed to me on Twitter, but still I'm posting some animation there, and yeah, I'm announcing all the streams. I particularly like this one. This is okay, what's with quality now? I have it in a full quality, and this is a beautiful one, right? I can actually run it, so you see. I will end the stream with this beautiful animation. Called it virus for no apparent reason. It's called virus. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? And I could also, I think I could also change metalness to something. Yeah, maybe this way it's a bit cooler right now because it was too dark. Isn't it cool as a eternal animation? I'm so proud of myself actually. And this is all inspired by the Thomas Hooper. Yeah, should go and subscribe to him. He's a cool guy. He does real cool GIFs. And I was just inspired by his cool GIFs. And that's why I tried to do my own GIF with this infinite zoom into something. Yeah, thank you all for being with me today. This is the end. Do something good today. Say some kind words to the close ones. Call your parents. Be happy. Try to live your life happy. Hope you like the stream. I'm wishing you a good day. See you in comments or in Twitter, whatever. I'm always great for the feedback. Have a good day, guys.